Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is another Sims 4 speed build. It's part 2 of the haunted house build that I've done especially for Halloween. As I said in the last part, I love Halloween. If you haven't watched part 1, you can click on the link down below and it'll take you straight to part 1, and that's where I did kind of the building of the house and the landscaping, and in this part it's just the furnishing. Really, so if you just want to watch finishing, carry on watching. If you want to watch the build and then the furnishing, just click down below in the description bar. But I'm now doing the dining room. I kind of wanted something quite grand. As I said in the first part, I wanted something that I remember seeing in Scooby-Doo when I used to watch that when I was younger. And they always kind of had this huge banquet room where there's a table just covered in food and just everything that you would expect in kind of like a Victorian house or like an old-fashioned house. And I wanted to use curtains on the doorways so that if they wanted they could close it and give it privacy, but otherwise it was open to the corridor and people could look in, and I really liked that idea. So I put this table that you can get, or that comes with the perfect party stuff or luxury party stuff. Yeah, luxury party stuff I think it's called. So I put that table there, and I do fill it up for the snapshots or screenshots at the end. So if you want to see it finished, wait until the screenshots. And I do change some of the colours of the lighting just to give it a little bit more of a different vibe to a regular one, or regular lighting that you get, the standard lighting. And then I put these old-fashioned chandeliers. I do change them later on to the ones that are more gold toned, and I use the spider's webs and spider detailing that came with the spooky stuff pack because I actually really like it. I think it just adds another dimension. It makes it look a bit older and more worn down and kind of unkept, which is kind of the idea that I had for this from the beginning. I didn't want something that looked put together. I wanted somewhere that kind of been abandoned and people didn't use it in so long that everything was really old-fashioned. Even the TV in the basement is like really old. Like at its time it probably was brand new and top of the range, but over time it's become old and decrepit, but it was what they had at the time. So that's the kind of idea I had throughout this the building or decorating of this house. And then kind of playing around with the rugs, and I actually forgot that you could increase the size of the rugs. So at the beginning I was struggling for ages trying to find a rug that fit with the room, and I couldn't find anything that I liked that was big enough. And then I remembered that you can increase the rug size, so I just increased the rug that I liked and fitted with the room, and it was perfect really. So I'm really glad that they added that on with one of the recent patches, I believe. And then just adding some mismatched chairs. They're a little bit more ornate and interesting looking. And then I wanted to add these side tables that came with the spooky stuff back, and some comical, not scary pumpkin heads. But in the end I just kept with the one table and then added some people like armor men things, because a haunted house would not be haunted without them. You need them. I mean, you have them in every single show, so it must be true, right? And then just trying to add some pictures and just give it a bit more of an interesting look to the walls because they were just so plain. I used the pictures that came with the spooky stuff pack continuously throughout the whole house, just because it fitted the best with the style I was going with. So, you know, we can just pretend that they're... I've now started looking at cabinet colours for the kitchen, and trying to decide what colour I wanted with the flooring. I didn't know whether one's really dark or not, so I just kind of laid them all out with the more Victorian styles and kind of had a look at it. And then when thinking about what kitchens looked like back in the day, I kind of remembered watching Once Upon a Time and adaptations of old style or old time living movies, I suppose. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now, but I thought about what they kind of look like. And in the kitchen they always have like this really big fireplace, because I suppose that's what they kind of would have cooked on back in the olden days. So I put this little fireplace, and once I put that in, I kind of worked out the colour scheme from that, and it kind of fitted in really nicely with this blue kind of undertone in the tile. So I used a lot of black and blue. I didn't use a lot of blue, but a lot of black. And I really like these cabinets that have the plates and stuff, so I kind of wanted to use that and put a big cabinet with plates, as if it was where everything was housed. It was kind of like a plate pantry basically. And as I find bits and pieces that I want to include in the rest of the house, I just kind of pop them in the rooms that it relates to, just so I kind of don't forget to use it. Because sometimes just looking for the stuff can take so much time, and you kind of forget what you have to use if you kind of don't take it out at the time. So I find it best if I just do that and I go that way, instead of trying to find it all again, and it just wastes so much time. So I just did it that way, and it actually does save a lot of time in the end. And then trying to work out kind of what to do with this middle section, because it was just so open, and I didn't want to do like a breakfast bar because we had this whole formal dining room. And then again I thought about the old style movies or adaptations of movies that were set in the past but are actual modern movies, and they always had a kind of like prepping table in front of the fire. So in the end I do put a wooden table in the middle, so it's like kind of like a farmhouse kitchen as well. So this is where they kind of do the food prep, and I added the weights so they could weigh everything. And then these milk I don't know what they're called, they're not cartons, the things that the milkman used to bring the milk in. But on the prep table I added some candles, even though you can't use them, which is a bit annoying, and a bowl of fruit, just so that there was some food on the actual table. And then I put that crate, which looks like it's come from the market, with the food that you use. Unfortunately, with this kitchen, the sink that I've put in, it's a freestanding sink that's actually, I suppose, traditionally used for a bathroom. They don't use that one by default, and the sim goes to the upstairs bathroom where there is a counter with a normal sink built in. So it's a bit annoying. So you may want to add in a sink if you're going to use this as a house that you're going to be playing with, because it just takes them so long to run upstairs to wash the dishes when you ask them to clear up, because they don't automatically go to the sink in the kitchen, which is really annoying. I hope the Sims change it so that they use the sink that's nearest to them, because that would annoy me if I was using this house. I don't think I'm going to be playing with this house. I may use it for like a trick-or-treat place, put some, maybe move the goths in and then do like a little trick-or-treat kind of thing. But apart from that, I don't think I would use it, just because it's not kind of the style that I'd normally have. It's really dark, and it's kind of just it's a seasonal or occasion house build, really. But in this entrance hall, I wanted something quite grand, so and a little bit weird. So I put this statue that has a tray that you can put stuff on, and I put the drinks tray and then stocked it, so when they came in they could help themselves to drinks if they wanted. But I just thought it was a bit funny, and I was going to put that rooster there, but in the end I thought that was just a little bit too weird. And then adding some art and just trying to put some decorative pieces in. And I tried to kind of use red tones in this house. I felt like it was quite boring in the main room because it was just all very monotoned. So I do add some various shades of like a pinky colours and pardon me, I'm so sorry guys, tickly cough just kind of hit me then. But with the rugs, I wanted to use these ones which weren't red, they're pink, but I kind of saw them as being really old, and over time they'd kind of been worn either by walking on them or sun damage, which makes them fade in colour. So I thought that was quite cool, so I used that and then put loads of these guys in armour, and I didn't really know what to do with the big open space at the top of the stairs, so I just added some bookshelves, and then I do change the top entrance section and put a fireplace there instead, and I move that side table to the windowed area there, and again lots and lots of candles, because that makes it look haunted, and some armed men in armor statue things, and a grandfather clock because I've never used a grandfather clock and I always forget that they even exist, so I put it in and I love it, and I'm going to use it a lot more when I build a house for that style. I'll definitely use it again. But yeah, in the landing, on the landing, even not in the landing, but on the landing, it doesn't really change much from this. It's kind of the way it is throughout. So, for the rest of the build, it doesn't change. And then the hallways, they're really big hallways. So I didn't really know what to do. I just kind of put some seating, more candelabras, and the men in armor, and some curtains on the windows. I didn't put really heavy curtains. I kind of put ones that look like they'd were grand at one point, but really muted tones again, so they look like they'd worn and been damaged by the sunlight, and over time that they'd been ruined, I suppose. And then loads of spider webs and spiders because I wanted it to look worn. And then I used this shield and sword and shields, which I really love, and I do put a fireplace, I believe, in the hallway, or do I not? I thought I did, but maybe I don't. And some more of those haunted, spooky pictures that came with the spooky stuff pack, which, like I said before, I use a lot, but there wasn't really much option, or there weren't many options even. I need to use proper English. There weren't very many options for paintings that kind of fitted in with the style, so I do use a lot of the same stuff over and over again, which is okay, doesn't matter. I kind of just, yeah, I don't use the same picture twice in the same room, so they're repeated throughout the house but in different rooms, so that's okay. And then for the lounge, I wanted to use these chairs, and I like this rug that kind of has like a blue tones, so I kind of use that as kind of like a reference, and try to incorporate that colour without making it too light, because those chairs are very, very light blue, but because I only had a couple of things that were light in colour, it didn't really brighten the room up a lot, which was great. It kind of kept that dark look. And I do play around with putting in a TV on a side table, but in the end I do delete it, and I put that in the basement section where I do put a TV area with the old style TV, like I said before, and a little bar area with a screen, because I just thought it was cool having a screen there. I don't know if you'd really have that with the bar there, because you'd want it to be open, but I just thought it made it look quite Victorian and old-fashioned with a screen, because it's an old-fashioned thing having those screens. And then the wallpaper, I tried loads of different colours and then decided on this, which is like I think it's called coving. But I really like the way that the room turned out in the end. I do dim the lights a bit so it's not as bright, because it's a bit bright and happy. And then I do add some spider's webs because it looked too clean and tidy, and I don't want clean and tidy. And then added some spider webs to a diagonal, just to make it look a little bit different to how all the rest of the spider webs are, because they just kind of all very similar, because it's, you can only have 2 spiders webs. So I kind of put it on a diagonal to look like it was going from the corner, from the one side of the corner to the other, because in real life that happens. Spiders do that. For the downstairs bathroom, this is kind of like the guest bathroom. There is a sink, bathtub and toilet. It's a pretty standard bathroom. And I do have a screen in there just to give some privacy in the bath, like for the bath, because that would probably happen in real life. They'd have a screen there in the olden days to protect people's modesty while they bathed. And then I put in this muted blue couch or settee, even though I don't know why, I just felt like the space was really empty and plain, and I just wanted something else in there, and I thought, why not just put a settee there? I mean, it is the guest bathroom. Maybe people, you know, put their clothes on there while they get in the bath, or so maybe someone sits there, because they may be getting attended to in the old days by their servants or whatever, and that's kind of their waiting area. I don't know. It kind of just looked right, and it's what I thought of. I didn't really put as much thought as I am right now into describing why I put it there. I just put it there. For the upstairs, I kept the upstairs corridor really simple and plain. A couple of seating areas, more of the men in armour, and I do put I try and put some different pictures. It doesn't happen, but yeah, I put those pictures, and then I try some more side tables. In the end, I do put in a fireplace, I believe, just because it's a big open space, and I would think that in a big house like this you'd have lots of fireplaces. I probably would put more than this in there in real life, just because in the olden days they didn't have central heating, I suppose. They had fires. But I didn't want to put too many because it would look really cramped. And the rooms themselves aren't actually that big. The master bedroom's quite big, but the furnishing that I use kind of uses a lot of the space, and I kind of like the orientation, so I didn't put more fireplace in there, just a few, which is fine, doesn't matter. The Sims don't get cold, so it's all right. But yeah, so this is kind of the way that the upstairs landing looks, or hallway, with some rugs, and then I do change the color scheme for the settee in the corner, just because it didn't go with the green rug, and just made it kind of look, it all goes together. And then some curtains again on the windows, just to give it some more detail, make it look prettier. And then some lights, because you need lights to see. This is the teenager's bedroom. I mean, I kind of wanted to do like a poster, 4-poster bed kind of look that Deligracy had done in her Twins Let's Play build, but for some reason I just couldn't get the curtains to kind of sit right, which was really annoying. So I don't know what curtains Deli used, but oh, sorry there, had a yawn. I hate when that happens and you can't kind of stop it once it starts. So sorry guys. But yeah, I didn't know which one she used, the curtain she used to do the 4-poster bed, and I just couldn't do it. No matter how many curtains I used, it just wasn't right. So in the end, I just kind of oversized the curtain and put this bed in the middle, and I think it looks quite cool and glam and a little bit princessy. The bedroom is a little bit more pretty than I planned. I wanted something quite grungy and dark, but this kind of just happened, so we're going with it. But in the screenshots, it's actually quite dark, so I like the way that kind of ends up. There's not a lot in the room. There's just a freestanding mirror, a dresser, and a study area in the window part. So the space doesn't actually allow for that much, but you know, you don't really need much more than that. But that's pretty much it. I think just a rug, or I don't think I do add a rug in the end. I'll just say a runner. I think it's called a runner. I don't know. The ones I use in the corridor. Have those and some decorative items, and that picture is not over the middle of the dresser, and that's kind of annoying, and yeah. I'm not going to change it now. But yeah, then the study, this is kind of through a secret door. You have the study, and it's got loads of like old style furnishings. It's got like the little ink quill and the old fashioned desk lamp. And I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with this space. I put like a little chess table in, and then I thought, who would live in this house? It was a bit spooky, and I thought, you know, a scientist would probably live here. And the really big science machine is too big to go in the space, so I just put this chemical analyzer that you get that came with the Get to Work expansion pack, and I think they use that in the Dr. Courier. I'm not sure, but it does help you increase your logic skill. So I put that in just to kind of make it look like a sciencey person lived here. I mean, you could change that for a chemistry set. That's probably better, but I didn't put that in. For the master bedroom, I wanted an ensuite bathroom, and then I was kind of trying to work out how I'd lay out the room. And then I thought, with a master bedroom, you kind of want like a grand entrance with a circular table. So kind of this is kind of how the space really looks in the end. I don't really change it a lot. It's just like the color schemes that I play around with, but mainly this is kind of the orientation that I end up with. Using another screen just to make it more private, because it has got that grand entrance way. And I wanted the sleeping area to be a little bit more private, so I added the screen. And then a little bit of greenery just to give it a little bit more detail. And then a freestanding mirror again, because to me that's Victorian. And a sofa. But apart from that, it's pretty much how the finished room looks. I mean, the entranceway uses a lot of the space because the room itself is quite big, but because of that entranceway, the usable space isn't that great. Like, you don't have as much space available. But I like the way that the room turned out, and I used this bright red luxe kind of wallpaper, adding more cobwebs. And then the bathroom is very, very simple. I think I just use the same flooring in all the bathrooms, because it's dark and I wanted a dark bathroom. But it's just got a sink, a toilet, and a tub and shower, and that's it really. I didn't even take a picture of it because it was so small and really just such a simple bathroom that I just felt like it didn't need a picture, you know. But this is the main bathroom, even though you probably don't need one, because there's 3 bathrooms in here and 3 bedrooms and a dungeon which has got a toilet, so you probably don't need that. But it kind of was the space available, and I thought the person who lives in that bedroom wouldn't want to go downstairs to use the bathroom, so I put one up here. You could use a space as a secondary study if you wanted. Maybe put the big science machine, because that would fit. So if you wanted to change it up, you can use this as a different Or you can make another bedroom in here, I suppose. You know, there are options. You can do what you want. But I just made a bathroom. And then I kind of go with this bright colour at the beginning. But I believe I darkened it up a bit because I just felt it was too bright and happy. And I didn't want any happy spaces. I want it just to be dark. So this is where I kind of play around with the colouring and just go with this dark wall and flooring again. Adding some curtains just to finish off the bathroom. But again, it's very, very simple. It's just a bathtub with some screens, sinks and a toilet. Very simple. This is like what I would call the Cinderella bedroom. It's a very dark space. It's got an easel. I was going to make it just like a storage and skill building area, maybe like, but then I thought I'll just put like a little bed. So I put a blow up bed that came with the one that you go on holiday. I think it's called Couples Retreat, but I'm not sure. I can't remember, but yeah, I put that bed in there just because it's not very nice and it kind of fits in with the feel I was going for. And a little study table and a little chair that looks like it's kind of really old and just been put up here for storage with the crates. The space itself isn't a bad space. You know, maybe, you know, the person who lives up here might not be mistreated. They just might not have done the room up. I'm not sure. This is not the dungeon. The dungeon I haven't built yet, but this is the family lounge area with the TV, so they can watch TV. It's nothing exciting. It's very, very simple. Just a couple of chairs. I do bring in the dudes in armor and put them down here as well because I put them everywhere else in the house, and with a secret door. And that's where the dungeon kind of comes off, and it's just a one cell dungeon for one person, with a bed and a toilet. It's not really exciting, and then just a privacy wall so they can go and poo in private. And then just a couple of lights just to brighten it up. For the outside, I just put in a small table and chairs, and then a little freestanding barbecue and some benches just to give them some seating space. But I didn't really want to put a lot there because I wanted it to be quite plain and boring. Well, just plain and not really used. But these are the screenshots of the outside and the entrance hall. I really love the 2-story curtain. I think that's my favourite part of the whole interior. The dining room, I love it as well, with the grand banquet table, and the kitchen, which is very old styled and fashioned, with the very, very, very patterned wallpaper throughout the house. The living room even, the downstairs bathroom, and this is the upstairs landing. You can see the fires are lit. It's looking lovely, and this is the corridor, the teenage bedroom, which is very dark. And the study with a small window, and another look at the upstairs corridor. This is the master bedroom, the entrance hall and sleeping area, and this is the main bathroom, which is very plain, and this is Cinderella's hole, I suppose, and the downstairs dungeon and lounge. This is the end of the haunted house. It is on the gallery. I've put a link down below if you want to download it. I hope you like it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye guys.